everyone, and welcome to Morning Coffee Break. I hope everybody's doing good. Today is Tuesday, November 25th. Got Kitty just jumped up here. Currently at 60 degrees. Been a little bit warmer. High today is going to be 64. Decent chance of rain, I guess 21%. That's the highest I've seen in a while. And windy, 20 mile per hour. So it's, and I looked further in the day, and it's gonna get a little less windy as the day goes on. But yeah, I don't know. We've had a lot of wind lately. Okay, tomorrow is when I'm having my, she headbutted the phone. You're silly. Tomorrow's when I'm having my total body scan and everything. So like today, I got to look at and see what I'm even allowed to eat. I know it said you can't eat many carbs for some reason for this test. I think they're injecting, I don't know if it's dye, but he also mentioned glucose or something like that. I think it was glucose, he said, the guy I talked to said. So that's why they don't want you to have a lot of carbs. It would raise your I guess sugar level, or you know, so we'll see. I'll have to check on, I've got the paperwork that, you know, tells me what I can and can't do. You're supposed to drink a lot of I'm supposed to drink a lot of water today, or like a hydrating drink or something like that, but I couldn't have one with sugar because that would, you know, turn into carbs, right? So I just need to read it and see what all I can do. So that's not really any plans for dinner. Probably they'll fix something and I'll have to have something else, or you know, or I'll fix them something, whatever. But it'll be over with by tomorrow, so just keep me in your prayers for good results. Okay. And speaking of not being able to eat good things, it's kind of ironic that I've got the delicious meals video today, and I definitely will not be watching it today. You know, I've already watched it as I made it. Always after I make something, I'm afraid I may have put something wrong in it, you know, out of my gallery. Not anything bad or anything, but something that would be totally different than what it's about. You know, maybe one about my garden or something by accident, a little clip or something. So I always look it over, and I already got hungry. Proof looking. Is that what you call it? Proofing it? So anyway, you say you proofread, you know, when you're with a book or whatever, you know, proofreading. That's kind of what it is. I look at it. Proof watching. So anyway, so not going to be too much fun. And, you know, I can't help it. I get anxiety. I try my best. I do trust the Lord will be there for me. He always is, and everything like that. But your body just does what it wants. I mean, as far as anxiety and stuff like that. And I've just had so many things happen to me at the hospital. You know, I've pretty much died there 3 times, and just going there, even if I went there to visit someone. For anything, any kind of test or anything, I mean, I guarantee you my blood pressure, hopefully it'll calm down after a while, you know, but my blood pressure is always high when I go there, and I'm always having a certain amount of anxiety. So, but I'll deal with it, you know, and the Lord will be there for me. So I need to have faith, you know, everything will be fine. Okay, all right, let's see what we got here in jokes today. We're still on the doctor category. Okay. Doctor, how can I stop my nose from running? Doctor says, stick your foot out and trip it up. I guess I need to show the little cartoon they got there. Okay. Doctor, everyone thinks I'm a liar. Doctor says, well, that's hard to believe. That was pretty good. Doctor, doctor, I keep thinking I'm a mosquito. Doctor says, go away, sucker. Doctor, doctor, I keep thinking I'm a spider. Doctor says, what a web of lies. Kitty, no, you can't go outside. She's over there. She's over there at the door. I don't know if she saw another cat out there or what. And she, the chain that hangs down, you know, it's not attached right now, but it's just hanging down. She'll smack that chain around and meow. Okay. Did I say, doctor, doctor, I keep thinking I'm a spider? What a web of lies. Okay. Doctor, doctor, what did the x-ray of my head show? Doctor says, absolutely nothing. Doctor, doctor, I think I'm a snail. Doctor says, don't worry, we'll soon have you out of your shell. Doctor, doctor, I keep painting myself gold. Doctor says, don't worry, it's just a guilt complex. G-I-L-T. Is that something to do with gold? I guess. I don't really know exactly what they mean by that, because it's not guilt, like guilty. It's G-I-L-T, so that might be a little tricky one to know what the meaning is. The punchline. Yeah, I got aggravated when I had my surgery, you know, back in, what was that? August? I think. Yeah, August 26th or 5th or something like that. I got a bill for a bunch of money, you know, from an anesthesiologist, and I was like, you know, why would I? Well, I don't have to pay. Never had to pay that. The only time I've ever had to pay one of them is when I was on like a, it was called Project Access, and the people, the doctors and everything, they donated their services or time to help people that were in need. And, you know, we were definitely in need at that time. We were in bad shape. I'd lost my job. You know, they closed and everything, and had 2 mortgages, a ton of bills, still do. But, you know, back then I wasn't bringing anything in for a while, and I didn't get unemployment for like 3 or 4 months. And I had to have an operation, and the anesthesiologist wouldn't donate his services. So I had to pay them, but I've never had to pay one when I had insurance, you know. So I immediately called my insurance and told them, and they said, no, why are they, you know, they shouldn't be sending you a bill. And I explained to them, you know, that the reason there was 2 charges is because they operated on me twice. Well, they called the anesthesiology place and told them, you know, that I guess I wasn't responsible for it or whatever. And at that time they said it had been paid. They told him, you know, we paid this. But then today I got another bill saying it was past due, you know, for a couple K, I mean. And so I was like, you know, this is ridiculous. And I called him and left a message because there was nobody there. And just got an answering machine. And I told him, I said, you need to contact my insurance. Why are you sending me bills and, you know, everything? So then I turned around and called insurance again, and they said something about, I think they might have denied one of those charges, because I think they're saying that even though I had 2 surgeries, it was all included on, I guess, as one. Does that make any sense? They're seeing it as like one, you know, which doesn't sound good for them, for the anesthesiologist, you know. But so I think they may have denied one of them, but I'm not responsible for it. If they need to work it out. And he said something about he was going to do something, the guy I talked to. And I said, well, they're not there today. There's no use in calling them today. You know, he called him anyway. I don't know if he didn't believe me or what. And he said, no, they're not there. I said, well, that's what I told you, you know. So they're going to call them today and then call me back this afternoon. I told them I wanted to know what they, you know, what they got it took care of or whatever. I shouldn't have to, you know, deal with that even, really. So we'll see what happens. I ain't paying for it. I got insurance. That's what insurance is for. Okay, so we did the jokes. Here's trivia time. I'm running my mouth a little. So I got to rant every now and then, you know, and I'm getting tired of all this stuff with insurance and all these places I'm having to go and co-payments and this and that. So like tomorrow, we're going to have to pay quite a bit, you know. What are you going to do? They want it. I mean, you can just about get out of it, but you're still going to be billed for it anyway. It's not going to go away if you don't pay it. I think usually we get a discount if we pay it there right then. So it's going to hurt, you know, but so is life. All right, let's lighten up and have some trivia time. It says, explore the great outdoors. Can you ace this refreshing quiz? What fruit is associated with Newton's theory of gravity? Orange, banana, apple, pear. It just hit him all of a sudden, right on the head. And that would be everybody probably knows that story. Apple, an apple. It says he formulated the gravitational theory in 1665 or 66 after watching an apple fall. Well, I guess that didn't hit his head. They act like it hit his head in stories. Figured it out with the apple falling, you know. An orchard is a plantation of trees that produce which of these? Spices, flowers, timber, fruit. I think everybody's probably heard of this. You know, you got a apple orchard, and that would be fruit. I hear Kitty eating. Yep. She's still being a little picky though about her food. She got a little spoiled there where she wasn't eating when I gave her some treats. You know, a little more treats than usual just to get her to eat something. And now I've had to wean her back off. And she just like, okay, that's my regular food. Where's the treats? You know. Okay, so next question. Definitely fruit. Which of these is a meal taken outdoors as part of an excursion? Cocktail, picnic, S-O-I-R-E-E, soiree, nap. Well, that sounds pretty good. A nap out in the outdoors. Cocktail. Anyway, it's a picnic. Yeah, it's a picnic. Which of these insects can pollinate flowers and make honey? Houseflies. I don't think so. Mosquitoes. Dragonflies. Bees. You know, we get a few dragonflies over here. There's a little lake at the end of the road going this way across the street. It's a private lake where they got... Excuse me. I've been sneezing a lot. I think it warmed up a little bit and some more caused some allergies to. But anyway, yeah, they've got, you know, houses. It's like a gated community almost, you know. Anyway, so I see some dragonflies make it over this way sometimes, but it's bees. Yep, bees. What is the name of the human-like figure used to deter birds from crops? Zombie, Mothman, Boogeyman, Scarecrow. Well, I'll tell you what. You put a zombie up on a pole in your cornfield, I don't think any birds are going to come around or anything. You know, so that's kind of, you know, you could use these other ones. We were talking about Mothman the other day, and Boogeyman. Put a Boogeyman on the pole in there too. I mean, ain't nothing, you know. Anyway, it's a scarecrow. That's pretty simple. Next, which of these is a type of snack developed to be taken along on hikes? Smoked brisket? Maple syrup pancakes? Yeah. Trail mix, mashed potatoes. Well, I'd love to have some smoked brisket and maple syrup pancakes and mashed potatoes on the trail. But it's trail mix. No if and ands or buts. Everybody knows what trail mix is. What's a sun shower? Rain while the sun shines? Rain that happens at night? Type of fog? Storm without thunder? Sun shower? Sun shines? How about that? Yes, rain while the sun shines. Yeah, that, you know, everybody's probably seen that before. It is kind of weird when it happens like that, though. Which of these is an outdoor fire used as part of a celebration? Wildfire, bushfire, bonfire, fire drill. Why not all of them? If you're having a real celebration, you may have a fire drill. Somebody may catch a bush on fire, and somebody be running around like wildfire, caught on fire. But it's bonfire. You know, cook the old marshmallows around the bonfire. Which of these is grass that has been cut and dried to be stored? Squash, plow, silo, hay. Grass. All right, we cut up that silo over there and it's drying. So, you know, we'll be putting that up in the, using the plow there and some squash. No, it's hay. Hay is grass, legumes, and other herbaceous plants that have been cut and dried to be stored for use as animal fodder. Fodder. That's a funny word. Which of these insects feeds on blood? Cicada, bee, mosquito, butterfly. Has everybody been bitten by a mosquito? They're after your blood. Okay, everybody. I got all 10 right. Pretty goofy, but still, we're just doing it for fun, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I hope you'll press that like button. Also, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this out. And hit that so you get all my videos as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out Delicious Meals video and have you a snack close by. Bye, everyone, and God bless.